Here we are again, Fun with Crypto, where you'll learn more about asymmetric key cryptography, also known as public key cryptography. The simple part of asymmetric key cryptography is that the algorithms generate two keys, a private one and a public one, and obviously one keeps the private key private and shares the public one. In our example, Bob will generate a key pair where the red key is the private key and the green key is the public key. Therefore, Bob will share his public key with Alice. It's important to understand either key can be used to encrypt the plaintext such that the other key can decrypt it. An important constraint is that the message being encrypted must be smaller than the encrypted key space. In a future video, we will learn that the size of the key space is also the modulus of the algorithm. But the important thing is that the key space will be in the hundreds to thousands of bits. Another important fact about asymmetric key encryption is that it's slow. Therefore, in practice, asymmetric key cryptography is used for three things. First, to encrypt symmetric keys to send them confidentially across an untrusted network. In our example, Alice has a symmetric key. She encrypts it with Bob's public key and sends it across the untrusted network to Bob. Then, Bob uses his private key to decrypt it, revealing the symmetric key. The second thing asymmetric key cryptography is used for is to encrypt the hash to send the hash across an untrusted network to maintain the integrity of the hashed value. Here, Bob has a message he wants to send to Alice. He takes a hash of the message and encrypts the hash with his private key. He sends both the message and the encrypted hash across the untrusted network. Alice decrypts Bob's hash of the message and performs her own hash of the message. If the two are equal, then the message has not been tampered with. And the third thing one does with asymmetric key cryptography is encrypt a random number to authenticate who the user is. The random number is called a nonce, which is a number used once. In this case, Bob generates a large random number and encrypts it with his private key. Bob sends the nonce and the encrypted nonce to Alice. Alice decrypts the nonce with Bob's public key and checks that the two values match. If so, then Bob must be in possession of Bob's private key. That's asymmetric key encryption in a nutshell. But three questions remain. First, what is the algorithm that allows a public key to decrypt a message encrypted via a private key, and vice versa? And the most common answer to that question is the RSA Public Key Cryptography Standard number 1.5 protocol, better known as the RSA Public Key Encryption Algorithm. The second question is, how does Bob prove to Alice that Bob's public key really represents Bob instead of some adversary? Clearly, the message was signed with his private key, but how do we know that it is Bob that has Bob's private key? And the answer is public key infrastructure, often referred to as PKI. And finally, if an adversary records the whole conversation and later obtains Bob's private key, is there any way to maintain the secrecy of the conversation? And the answer is to use the Diffie-Hellman ephemeral key exchange protocol that provides perfect forward secrecy. And each of these is a topic for a future Fun with Crypto video.